Good morning, welcome back. I want to continue talking about habits here this morning, and we've been talking about cues, cravings, where we're on talking about rewards now. Here's one of the key concepts with habits. You need to make it easy, and you need to do it over and over again. So I'm going to give you an example of a story from when I was teaching at a university in China. When I taught at a university in China, I was teaching this upper level English course, and I noticed something consistently, that my male students, even though their English wasn't grammatically correct all the time, even though they didn't get everything right, their pronunciation was often awful, they spoke far better than my female clients. And I wondered about this. What was going on? My female clients, their grammar was way better. They understood English as a concept far better. Their pronunciation when they did speak typically was better. But their English was awful, their spoken English. Whereas the guys, and their written English was better. But the guys knew how to speak. And I wondered about this a lot, and I've consistently thought about that since then. The difference was that the guys were willing to practice, they were willing to try things, and they were willing to get their reps in. This is a key component of getting good at anything. You need to get your reps in. So, for example, I was trying to do as many chin-ups as I could. This is a few years back. I was trying to get up to a goal of like 40 or 50 chin-ups, right? By the way, I didn't hit it, but I came close. And as I was working towards this goal, I read over and over. I kept on hitting plateaus where I couldn't hit. I came to like 18 or 20 or 22 chin-ups, and I couldn't get any more, no matter what I did. And I read a blog post one day that said, get your reps in. Get your reps in. If you just get the movement in, your body gets used to that movement, your mind gets used to the movement, and once you're used to it, it becomes subconscious or unconscious. And once it's subconscious, you're able to simply do it. And it's the same with habits. So what do you need to do with habits? How do you create this? So first of all, it needs to become easy. It needs to be easy, and then you need to get your reps in. And this is what I'm going to give you. There's a rule of thumb with habits, that if you're trying to create a new habit, make sure that it's so simple and so easy that you're going to do it. The example that I'm going to give you is that so a few weeks back, I was creating a webinar. And this is a sales webinar, and I do not enjoy creating sales webinars, okay? They're one of my least favorite things to do. They take a lot of time and a lot of energy. Having said that, it's really important for my business. So I get it done. Instead of procrastinating, I get it done. But I was realizing that I was procrastinating. So what did I do? I needed to create this habit where for a couple of weeks, I was just really getting it done every day. So I would come to my office, I would film a morning with Mark here, and then I would just move into my webinar, work on my webinar for a set period of time. And I realized I wanted to do it for an hour every day. I realized I was not doing it. So what I did was I created a habit out of it. What I did was I stacked, so as soon as I was done with this video, I would sit down with my computer and start working on it. But the key component for me to make the switch, to get into it every time rather than wasting time or getting onto something else with my procrastination, was that I made sure it took less than 2 minutes. And once I did that for a week, now I was in the habit of doing it, and I simply increased the time. And you can do this in increments. I'll talk about mornings here. If you want to create the perfect morning for yourself, let's say you want to exercise. One way you could do that is the first day you simply wake up early, and you get your exercise clothing on. It takes less than 2 minutes to get your clothing on, right? So now that you're into the habit of getting your clothing on, maybe after a couple of days, and legitimately this works. It sounds so weird and it sounds so slow to create this, but if you create it this way over a couple of weeks, you'll actually have a habit rather than fighting with yourself for months and months, okay? So the first day, the first couple of days, you simply put your workout clothes on and you step outside. Or you step into your workout area at home, or whatever it is, okay? The second step, once you're getting your workout clothes out, by the way, lay your clothes out beforehand. If you lay your clothes out beforehand the night before, it's easier. You see them, it's obvious, right? We've already talked about this. So now your workout clothes are there, you put them on. The next step is, how can I create the next step, making it less than 2 minutes? So let's say the next step, you simply get in your car and start driving. That's it. So you get your clothes on, you get in your car, and you start driving, and maybe you work out. I work out home, maybe you work out at a gym. That would be a way to do it, okay? So that's the next step. You just simply drive, and you drive to the gym a couple times, and you don't even need to work out that time. You don't even need to work out. This is so weird. It sounds so strange. And yet, if you want to work out, you can, but that's not the goal. The goal is to create the habit initially. Now let's say after a couple of days of doing that, or one day, you could do it even just for one day. The next day, you're going to create the next habit, implement the next part of it. And what you're doing is you're creating this stacking process where once you're up, you automatically get into your clothes. Once you got your clothes on, you automatically get into the vehicle. Once you're at the gym, you automatically start working out. Once you've got that, usually those first couple of steps are enough to start working out. But if you need help with that, if you still go, no, working out is so hard and it's so frustrating and that's weighing in your mind, what you can do is the next day or the next few days, you work out and you simply do one exercise for a very brief period of time. People may look at you weird. That's fine. Don't worry about them. They're the people that also probably won't be around in August and September and October. They're only there for January, right? So don't worry about them. Focus on yourself and get it done, okay? So you create 2-minute habits. So I will do cardio, but I'm only going to do 2 minutes of cardio at the beginning. Again, when you break it down into very small chunks, you are more likely to do it. When you're more likely to do it, you get the reps in order to create the habit, in order to create that neural connection, okay? Now, what do you do with bad habits? If you want to get rid of a bad habit, what you do is you make it so that the first couple of minutes are difficult. If you don't want to watch TV, this is what you could do. Every time you go to bed, or every time, I don't know, you're done watching TV, you take the remote, take the batteries out of the remote and put them somewhere, hide them away somewhere. You know where they are, okay? And you're not trying to fool yourself about where they are, but you make it more difficult, maybe in a closet or something. And you unplug the TV and you maybe unplug some other equipment. And maybe it takes you a couple minutes to plug things in and get them ready. Or let's say maybe you've got a certain component of your television that you need for, I don't know, Netflix or for some other receiver, okay? Maybe you take that and you put it away each time. In our house, we've got a projector that we watch movies with. So we take the projector and we always put it away. If the projector's out, we are more likely to watch TV or more likely to project something up. But if it's out, when it's easy. But when it's difficult, when it takes a few minutes, now there's just that check in our brain where instead of simply acting emotionally with, I'd rather procrastinate, instead we ask ourselves, what do I want to do today? What do I want to get done today? What's important to me today? Same with food. I've talked about this before. Same with food. Put things that are maybe less good for you and you might go for them and they're less healthy. Make them more difficult to get to. When you are doing this consistently, you'll be better. So to wrap it up, and I want you to practice this. This is the action step for today. To wrap it up, make things really simple and easy. The easier you make them, the more likely you are to do them. The more likely you are to do them, the more reps you can get in. The more reps you get in, the more you're creating neural connections that, oh, when I get up, I get on my workout clothes. When I get up, I drink my water. When I get up, I brush my teeth. When I brush my teeth, after I brush my teeth, I do my meditation. Whatever it is, okay? When you create those easy things, you're simply getting them stuck in your head. I actually even write these out. I will write them out on a piece of paper. I say, when I get up, I was doing this morning because I'm trying to tweak my morning routine a little bit. I wrote out, when I wake up, immediately, I go and drink my shake. Make it and drink my shake, okay? I'm working on waking up a little bit more. As soon as I'm done that, I study some French. As soon as I'm done that, I make those simple routines. So again, simplicity, make sure that you're getting in your reps. If you don't want certain habits in your life, make it more difficult. Honestly, simply making it more difficult, you will find, oh, wait a second, I'm not doing this as much. I don't have snacks in the house. I don't eat as many snacks. Whatever it is. That's the only action I'm giving you today is to think about the habits that you want and that you don't want and make them either a little bit easier or a little bit more difficult. And I want you to measure this over the next week. See whether you're doing it more or less. I'm willing to bet that you will, even in the first week. Enjoy the process.